Are you ready to end the struggle with money? Not next month, not next year, but now. Then you must know this. Money is not your master, and struggle is not your teacher. You have been told that effort is the answer, that discipline will deliver you, that lack is something to climb out of with strategy and grind. But I tell you today, none of those things hold the key. Your word does. Yes, your mouth has more to do with your money than your resume ever will, because money is not governed by toil, it is governed by law, and divine law does not respond to hustle. It responds to utterance. It moves on rhythm, not reason, on alignment, not anxiety. You are not broke because of your circumstances. You are broke because of your declarations. You say what you see instead of speaking what you desire. You describe the mountain instead of casting it into the sea. But you were never called to report appearances. You were called to command outcomes. So I speak to you now, spirit to spirit, and I say, there is no power in money. The power is in your word about money. If you speak from fear, money flees. If you speak from truth, money flows. It is not emotion that shifts your life. It is uttered alignment. This is the sentence that changes everything. And no, it is not a magic trick or poetic comfort. It is spiritual architecture, a formula that ends the inner war with supply and places you in divine agreement. Do you want to know the one sentence that ends struggle with money forever? Then prepare your spirit. Because I am not here to motivate you. I am not here to comfort your ego. I am here to speak law to your lack, to show you that money has no mind of its own. It obeys the voice of faith. You don't chase money. You call it. You don't beg for supply. You expect it. You don't earn rest. You inherit it. So cast off the old lie that lack is holy, that struggle is required, that money is suspicious. These are shadows cast by those who forgot the Son of Truth. Your breakthrough does not begin when your paycheck arrives. Your breakthrough begins the moment you say, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. That sentence will be the dividing line between the old you and the new law, between anxiety and abundance, between effort and expression. Are you ready to understand why that one line can dissolve a lifetime of financial fear? Then come closer. Let us move into the second part, spiritual law explained, the law of substitution. You cannot hold fear and truth in the same mind. One must be substituted for the other. That is the working of the law of substitution. And until you master this law, your relationship with money will remain divided, unstable, confused. The world has trained you to speak what you fear. I don't know how I'll make it. Money's tight. There's never enough. These are not casual remarks. These are decrees. These are financial contracts made in the courtroom of spirit. And what you decree, you experience. What you expect, you embody. But the law of substitution says, where fear once lived, truth may now stand. When you speak the sentence, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. You are not saying pretty words. You are performing divine surgery. You are lifting the energy of fear off your shoulders and placing it on the altar of divine intelligence. You are saying, I will not carry what I was never designed to bear. It is the Christ within, the God consciousness, the indwelling presence that does the work. You do not need to know where the money will come from. That is not your department. Your role is to refuse to carry the burden and instead to claim the blessing. Let us examine the law through Scripture. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain you. Psalm 55:22. My God shall supply all your needs according to His riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. These are not metaphors. These are metaphysical guarantees. But they require substitution. You cannot receive supply while gripping the burden of lack. You cannot open your hands to provision while clenching your fists in panic. Every time you speak the sentence, you are making an exchange. Fear is replaced by faith. Burden is replaced by blessing. Limitation is replaced by law. Imagine your mind as a sacred garden. Fear is a weed. Truth is a seed. The sentence is the shovel that uproots the weed and makes space for the seed. But you must speak it daily. You must till the ground of your consciousness until the new growth becomes unshakable. There are no exceptions to this law. If you speak it with faith, it will work. If you speak it with repetition, it will grow. If you speak it in the face of doubt, it will dominate. You are not being punished by money. You are being invited into mental dominion. And the invitation sounds like this: I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Say it now, speak it aloud, and feel the shift, not in your bank account but in your vibration. That is where all money begins. Now, let us step deeper into the practice and move into part 3, Instruction in Truth, introducing the one sentence. Now, I give it to you plainly. The one sentence that ends your struggle with money is not hidden. It is not complicated. It is not reserved for the spiritually elite. It is law, and it is simple. Say it now with me. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. This is no poetic suggestion. This is divine legislation. Let me break it down for your spirit, line by line. I cast this burden of lack. You are naming the weight. You are refusing to carry what was never yours. Lack is not your identity. Struggle is not your inheritance. When you say this, you stop entertaining the fear, and you begin excommunicating it. On the Christ within. This is your source, your inner divine mind. The Christ within is not a figure of history. It is the law of God encoded in your very being. When you cast your burden here, you are giving it to the only power that can actually dissolve it. And I go free. This is the release, the transaction. You don't just drop fear, you walk into freedom. Freedom to receive, to relax, to rejoice. This is not passive language. This is the language of spiritual authority. To receive unlimited supply. And here lies the blessing. Not partial, not probable, unlimited. You're not asking, you're not hoping, you're receiving. Because once the burden is gone, the blessing flows like water into the open channel. This one sentence is not for emergencies, it is for daily dominion. Speak it in the morning before your feet hit the floor. Speak it when anxiety rises as you check your bank account. Speak it before you pay a bill. Speak it when doubt whispers. You do not say it once and forget it. You say it until your nervous system aligns. You say it until your energy reflects it. You say it until you are no longer begging money to come. You are commanding it to report. Let this become your sacred rhythm. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Say it calmly. Say it rhythmically. Say it until even your fears bow to the sound. This is the new ritual, and as you say it, don't wait for the outer to change. Let the inner shift first, because the world doesn't supply your good. God within does, and the money you seek is already waiting for the version of you who speaks this as law, not as wish. Now that you have received the sentence, let us move to part 4, spoken word versus silent belief. Because until your mouth agrees with your spirit, your world cannot change. Certainly. Let us now speak to the root of creation itself, the Word. You may believe in abundance, you may meditate on wealth, you may journal dreams of prosperity, but if your mouth is silent, your results will remain locked in the realm of potential. Silent belief does not move mountains. Spoken word does. The truth is this: nothing is made manifest until it is spoken. The universe is not responding to your hope. It is responding to your decree. You may feel abundant inside, but if your lips repeat phrases of lack, fear, and hesitation, your world will mirror your words, not your hidden faith. Scripture affirms this clearly. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. Job 22:28. Not think a thing, not believe quietly. Decree, speak, proclaim. Your word is your wand, not your thoughts, not your feelings. When God created the world, He did not meditate it into existence. He did not visualize the oceans or imagine the mountains. He said, "Let there be light." And there was light. This is the blueprint. To think is to conceive. To believe is to receive. But to speak is to create. Let me show you the trap that binds most seekers. They carry a deep inner belief that God will provide, but they undo it with their speech. They say things like, "I can't afford that. Money never lasts. I always get hit with unexpected bills." These are not harmless phrases. They are financial prophecies. Every word is a seed, and the soil is your subconscious mind. The moment you say it, the universe begins organizing itself to prove you right. And if your tongue is trained by fear, it will always testify against you, even when your spirit longs for more. So what must you do? You must put your spoken word above your emotions. You must declare truth in the face of appearances. You must let the word be louder than your bank balance, your job title, your financial history. Here is your new commandment. I will not let my mouth betray my faith. Because when your belief is silent, it is still in the womb. But when it is spoken, it is birthed into form. Let me make it plain. Silent belief is a vision. Spoken word is a verdict. One can be doubted, the other must be obeyed. So ask yourself, what do you say about your money? What do you speak when the bill arrives? What do you utter when supply feels delayed? Because your world is not responding to your good intentions. It is responding to your uttered truth. Speak lack, and lack lingers. Speak supply, and supply answers. The universe is not ignoring you. It's just waiting for you to speak with authority. So now, with new awareness, let us witness the principle in action. In Part 5, Case Study, The Woman Who Spoke Her Way to Rent, I will show you exactly what happens when belief becomes declaration, and heaven rushes to respond. Certainly. Let us move into living testimony, the law proven in real time. She was days away from eviction, a single mother, a teacher by trade, no child support coming in, no family to rely on, and no paycheck due in time to meet the rent. Fear sat on her chest like a stone. She had done everything the world told her to do, budgeted, asked for help, prayed in silence. But her eyes still fell on the same numbers, the same insufficiency, the same dread every time she opened her banking app. Then, one night, while flipping through a worn copy of The Game of Life and How to Play It, her eyes landed on the sentence, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. She did not feel powerful, she did not feel spiritual, but something within her stirred, a small, defiant spark. So she stood up in her living room, tears still fresh on her cheeks, and spoke the sentence out loud. Not once, but 7 times, slowly at first, then stronger, then again the next morning, then in the car before work, then again at night while brushing her teeth, again while looking at the past due notice taped to her door, and again every time fear began to whisper, "It won't be enough." She stopped rehearsing the fear and started declaring the law. She no longer said, "I don't know what I'll do." She replaced that sentence, cast it down, and chose the new one. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. On the 5th day, her phone rang. A former client from years ago had randomly found an old email from her. They had just received a grant for a school program and needed a speaker for a 2-week workshop. Could she start immediately? And yes, the deposit would be paid up front. Today. It wasn't a miracle. It was metaphysical law. You see, her good was always trying to reach her, but fear had been blocking the gates. The moment she spoke in alignment, she dissolved the dam. She cast the burden and made room for the blessing. This is not unusual. It is not exceptional. It is divine pattern. Let me ask you, what if she had waited for proof before she spoke? What if she had treated the sentence like a suggestion instead of a command? What if she had whispered her fears instead of declaring her faith? She would have remained stuck, not because God was unwilling, but because her word remained unspoken. The supply was there, the client was there, the payment was ready. It was her sentence that made the connection. Now hear me. This is not a story about luck. This is a demonstration of law, the same law that governs you now, the same sentence that can unlock your next provision. Will you wait for the fear to subside before you speak? Or will you declare the truth as she did and watch the law fulfill its promise? Let us now move into part 6, Mental Reprogramming. Replace financial fear with law, where you will learn to speak your way out of subconscious fear and into divine freedom. Certainly. Let us now rewire the inner blueprint with the only material that holds, truth. Financial fear is not circumstantial. It is programmed. It lives in the folds of your mind like an unchallenged tenant, whispering lies that feel like logic. I never have enough. I always fall behind. Money disappears faster than it comes. These are not just thoughts. They are mental spells, and every time you repeat them, you reinforce them. But what is built in thought can be torn down in word. You do not fight financial fear by budgeting harder or working longer. You dismantle it by declaring truth louder than the lie. And you must do it with rhythm, with fire, with holy stubbornness. This is not positive thinking. This is mental reprogramming. Let me make this clear. Your subconscious does not respond to silence. It responds to sound, repetition, and authority. Every time you speak truth aloud, you cut a new groove in the mind. Every declaration is a new neural decree. And the most potent weapon in this reprogramming is your own voice, aligned with divine law. Let's reprogram right now. When the old thought rises, I don't know how I'll pay for this. You interrupt it with, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. When the fear says, what if I lose everything? You answer with, there is no loss in divine mind. What is mine by divine right can never be withheld. When shame creeps in, I should have more by now. You stand tall and say, my supply comes from God, not from man. I am divinely compensated in all I do. You see, fear does not vanish by avoidance. It bows by replacement. You cannot think your way out of lack. You must speak your way out. This is the discipline. Every time the old programming plays, you overdub it with truth. You become the narrator of your new financial story, not the victim of your old emotional soundtrack. And repetition is not just helpful, it is sacred. Your cells respond to spoken vibration. Your emotions shift with rhythm. That is why David sang psalms, why prophets declared visions aloud, why Jesus rebuked the storm with a spoken word. So I charge you now, make your declarations daily. Make them rhythmic, make them law. Stand in front of your mirror, face the doubt, face the fear, and speak over it until it breaks. Your subconscious will resist at first. It may mock you, but keep speaking, because eventually the mind will bend. Eventually the fear will crack. Eventually the program will reset. And when it does, you will walk through the same world, but lack will no longer be your lens. You will see differently, expect differently, receive differently, because you will have become someone new, a soul aligned with truth, a mind reprogrammed by spirit, a mouth that no longer makes room for fear. Let us now go deeper into dominion with part 7, Command and Challenge. Speak your supply. Out loud. This is where we stop rehearsing and begin ruling. Certainly. Let us now separate the illusion from the demonstration. Spoken wealth versus visualized wealth. Many have been taught to visualize wealth, to picture checks arriving, to imagine the dream home, the luxury car, the flowing account. And while imagination is divine faculty, vital, creative, powerful, it is not enough. Visualization is blueprint, but it is the word that lays brick. You may close your eyes and see millions, yet still speak thousands into dust. You may dream of freedom and yet say aloud, "I can't afford that." And in that moment, the dream collapses beneath the decree. You see, visualization moves the subconscious, but declaration commands it. Visualization is rehearsal, but the spoken word is release. The spoken word sends your inner faith into the field of matter and says, "Now perform." I have seen countless souls say, "But I've been meditating on abundance." Yet when I ask what they've been saying aloud, they go silent. And that silence explains the delay. The law is clear. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Psalm 107:2. Not think so, not imagine so, say so. In the metaphysical realm, your voice is the key that unlocks unseen storehouses. Spirit waits not on fantasy, but on utterance. God created with words, not with daydreams, and you are made in the same image. Do not confuse feeling rich with sounding rich. The former may bring momentary comfort, but the latter, the spoken word, brings demonstration. This is why your affirmations must be voiced, not whispered, not internalized, but spoken into the atmosphere, because when you speak, you align sound, breath, body, and spirit. You become a channel, not just a container. And let me be clear, visualization must serve the spoken word, not replace it. See what you desire, but then declare it as law. Do not stop at the image. Walk through the mirror with your voice. You are not here to be a dreamer. You are here to be a declarer, a demonstrator, a distributor of divine supply. So if you have been visualizing without results, the missing link is your voice. Say it out loud. Wealth is not a fantasy. It is my spoken form. Let this be your shift, from passive to active, from dreaming to declaring, from hope to harvest, and the harvest always begins with sound. You have spoken the sentence, you have felt its power, but to live in it, to embody it, is to make it a spiritual habit, a daily act of metaphysical mastery. You do not say it once and wait. You say it until the cells of your body obey. You say it until the mind falls into step. You say it until your supply becomes as natural as your breath. This is the 7-day sentence practice, a covenant between your soul and your source. For 7 days, speak this one sentence out loud, with rhythm, with clarity, with divine precision. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Each day builds a layer. Each day removes residue. Each day becomes a rung on the ladder from fear to dominion. Here is your 7-fold rhythm. Day 1, initiation. Speak it slowly. Let the words ring like sacred bells in your body. Begin to feel the shift from fear to faith. Say it morning, noon, and night, especially when fear whispers. Day 2, resistance. On this day, the ego will protest. You'll hear, "This isn't working," or "You're just saying words." This is the death rattle of lack. Keep speaking. You are not trying to feel something, you are building something. Day 3, cracking the shell. Now the outer begins to reflect subtle shifts, a gift, a call, an insight. Don't doubt it, it is evidence. Keep the sentence close to your lips like a sword unsheathed. Day 4, anchoring. You are no longer repeating it, you are living it. You find it rising on your tongue before you even think. You catch yourself saying it without trying. This is identity hardening into form. Day 5, acceleration. Now your energy moves faster. You begin to feel boldness. Financial shame begins to fall off like old scales. The sentence is no longer hope. It is truth in motion. Day 6, overflow. Provision appears where delay once lived. You begin to receive, not just ideas or nudges, but substance, supply, confirmation, divine compensation, and it's only day 6. Day 7, completion. On this day, you speak the sentence not as a practice, but as identity. You have cast the burden so many times it no longer knows where to return. You are light. You are free. You are walking in the law. This is not ritual. This is spiritual training. It is how you rewire the entire system of struggle. Do not say the sentence for the money. Say it to break the illusion. Say it to return to law. Say it until you don't remember life without it. Your word is not waiting for emotion. It is waiting for consistency. And the 7-day sentence practice is how you become unshakable in the spirit of supply. You cannot wait for the fear to leave before you open your mouth. You cannot wait for the anxiety to settle, the facts to improve, or the evidence to shift. If you do, you are not walking by faith. You are bowing to appearances. And appearances are the oldest liars in creation. You must learn to speak when your throat is dry, when your knees are trembling, when your bank account hisses lies and your mind repeats old scripts. This is the battlefield of spiritual dominion. Here is the command. Do not be silent in the storm. Speak in the presence of fear. Your word is not for the calm, your word is the calmer. When Jesus stood in the boat and the waves were raging, he did not meditate. He did not visualize calm. He spoke, "Peace, be still." And the sea obeyed. Why? Because divine law does not wait for emotions to stabilize. It acts from authority. And you, child of spirit, have that same authority. But it only flows when you dare to declare while the appearance threatens. The fear you feel is not a warning, it is an invitation, an announcement that a lie is present, asking you to believe it. Instead, you must declare, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Even if your voice shakes, even if your heart pounds, even if you feel like a fraud, speak it anyway. Because every time you speak truth in the presence of fear, you teach your soul to trust law over logic. And let me give you the challenge. For the next 7 days, whenever fear rises, about money, about bills, about your future, you must speak this sentence out loud within 10 seconds. Not in your head, not in a whisper, out loud. Say, I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Say it when the doubt comes. Say it when you feel unworthy. Say it when fear calls your name and tries to shame you into silence. Because that's where your authority is tested, not in safety, but in fire. If you can speak in the presence of fear, fear will begin to flee your presence. It will learn your voice and tremble. It will know, this one cannot be ruled. This is the law of spiritual self-government. Speak in the face of fear, and you will soon walk where fear cannot follow. Now that your spirit is alert, your mind realigned, and your fear exposed, let us wield the sword of the word. These declarations are not nice phrases. They are metaphysical commands. Each one is a spiritual hammer, breaking old patterns. Each one is encoded with divine law. Say them aloud. Let them echo in your room, in your car, in your temple body. Let every cell hear. Let every fear break. Let every lack dissolve. 1. I do not chase money, I command it by law. You are not a beggar in the marketplace. You are a creator in the image of God. Money is not your master, it is your servant, and servants answer to voice. 2. I speak from the place of already having. Not from absence, not from need, but from completion. Your word does not seek permission, it issues verdict. 3. I cast every burden of fear onto the Christ within and walk free in provision. You do not carry the weight of uncertainty. The Christ mind within you handles the logistics. Your role is spiritual command. Let the inner do the heavy lifting. 4. My voice multiplies what I touch. Every bill you bless, every transaction you speak over, expands, because the energy of your word rewrites the field around it. 5. God's wealth is circulating in my life with ease, rhythm, and joy. Not with toil, not with panic, not with tight fists, but with rhythm, with joy, with song. Let this be your circulation scripture. 6. I do not wait for evidence. I speak the evidence into being. You are not a thermometer reacting to appearances. You are a thermostat setting the temperature of your world. Speak now, see later. 7. My spoken word is the wealth. My visible money is the echo. Let this end the illusion. The word is the seed. The harvest is guaranteed. Don't confuse the fruit with the root. Keep speaking. Now pause. Breathe. Feel what just shifted. These 7 sentences are not just affirmations. They are spiritual software. Every time you repeat them, you rewrite the code of lack. You interrupt generations of silence. You awaken ancient dominion within your own tongue. Do not whisper these. Roar them. Because the universe does not obey hesitation. It obeys conviction. And now you carry the sound of supply in your mouth. She had lived under the shadow of just enough for decades. A faithful woman, spiritual by all outward appearances, generous to others, yet silently tormented by fear every time her rent was due or the grocery bill grew longer than expected. She tithed, she volunteered, she prayed. But her life was a constant negotiation with insufficiency. She had grown used to saying things like, "I'll make it work. God will come through somehow. Money doesn't grow on trees." These were the unconscious sentences that shaped her atmosphere. She didn't realize it, but she was upholding the struggle with her own mouth. She was a believer in spirit, but also a believer in shortage. Then she heard one line from me. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. At first, she wept, not from joy, but from conviction. She realized she had never cast the burden. She had carried it like a badge of spiritual survival. So she made a vow. For 14 days, she would speak that one sentence every morning before her feet hit the floor. She would say it while cooking, while driving, while folding clothes. Not once in panic, but as a law, as a command, as the new foundation of her world. At first, nothing happened. No big check in the mail, no anonymous donor, no sudden miracle. But she felt something shift in the air. Her chest relaxed, her breath deepened. She stopped checking her account 10 times a day. The spiritual anxiety lifted. And that was no small miracle. It was the beginning of demonstration. On day 6, a co-worker she barely spoke to approached her and said, "I don't know why I feel led to do this, but I've been assigned a side contract and I need someone I trust to handle overflow. It's paid weekly. Interested?" She said yes. 2 days later, the organization called her directly. They not only hired her, they offered her a long-term retainer at triple her previous rate. And the kicker? The contract had been signed the day before she started speaking the sentence. The provision had already existed, but she had to remove the fog of fear and align her vibration through declaration to walk into it. She didn't chase the blessing. She didn't beg for it. She spoke into the clearing, and it appeared. Now her phrase lives on her mirror, on her journal, on her lips. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Her surplus is not luck. It is law. And the law is no respecter of persons, but it is a strict respecter of the spoken word. So I ask you, will you speak your way out of survival? Will you command your way out of compromise? Because if you do, you will find, as she did, that the sentence doesn't just end struggle. It rewrites the story. If you search the Gospels, you will not find Jesus begging, bargaining, or hesitating. You will not find him visualizing loaves into baskets or meditating lepers into wholeness. You will find him speaking, declaring, commanding. The method of the Master was always spoken word. To the sea, he said, "Peace, be still." Not, "Please calm down." Be still. It was command, not comfort. To the dead, he said, "Lazarus, come forth." He did not cry at the tomb and hope. He called. And what was bound had no choice but to obey. To the man at the pool of Bethesda, lying in decades of infirmity, Jesus didn't sit beside him and empathize. He declared, "Rise, take up thy bed, and walk." This was not cruelty, it was clarity. Jesus knew spiritual law. He knew the power of the creative decree. He said in John 14:10, "The words that I speak unto you, I speak not of myself, but the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works." Meaning, the power flows through spoken alignment. When he fed the 5,000, what did he do? He took the loaves, blessed them aloud, and gave thanks for multiplication before it occurred. He spoke supply into form. He didn't wait for enough, he declared enough. And he said something else, something many ignore. "Greater works than these shall ye do." He did not say observe, he said do. You were never meant to be a spectator of miracles. You were meant to be a speaker of miracles. The sentence that ends money struggle forever is not magic. It is ministry. It is a reflection of the same law that governed Jesus' every move. The Father within doeth the work, but the Son must speak the word. When you say, "I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply," you are not hoping, you are doing what Jesus did. You are stepping into the theology of divine command. You are not begging for heaven to move. You are aligning with heaven already moving. You are not waiting for favor. You are activating law. This is what separates the metaphysical student from the religious wanderer. One believes God is waiting. The other knows God moves the moment truth is spoken. So speak as Jesus spoke. Command as Jesus commanded. Walk as Jesus walked, in the rhythm of creative word and immediate demonstration. There will be days when the sentence feels dry, when your voice feels powerless, when the words feel foolish, mechanical, even absurd. The mind will scream, "It's not working." The bank balance won't shift, the appearance will tighten, and the fear will attempt a final strike. This is the moment where most fall silent. But you must speak louder. The resistance is not proof that it isn't working. The resistance is proof that the old pattern is dying. And like all things that die, it resists the grave. You must speak the sentence like a hammer, again and again and again, until the shell of fear cracks open and your spirit walks free. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. This is not repetition for repetition's sake. This is spiritual leverage. Every time you say it, you etch a new groove into your subconscious. Every time you say it, you unhook your soul from ancestral lack. Every time you say it, the inner mechanism of divine compensation moves closer to form. You say it until fear gets bored. You say it until doubt loses its echo. You say it until your atmosphere aligns with your authority. Some burdens don't fall off at once. Some illusions must be spoken through layer by layer. Don't fear the repetition, fear the silence. Because silence is where the old story survives, but the spoken word is where resurrection begins. You must become a scribe of power, speaking the same law until the stone rolls away. It is not how you feel that determines the result. It is how faithfully you speak. Declare, "I will say it until I believe it. I will say it until I see it. I will say it until the door opens and lack is a name I no longer answer to." This is how you take dominion over resistance, not by willpower, not by effort, but by lawful repetition of truth. Stand up if you can. Sit up straight if you must. But wherever you are, come into alignment. Your spine is your staff. Your breath is your offering. Your word is your weapon. We are about to release the sentence that ends struggle with money forever, not because it's magical, but because it is metaphysical law spoken through authority. Say this out loud with me now. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Again, with full clarity. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. One more time, now as law. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Let it settle in your body. Let it vibrate in your bones. Let it cut through every ancestral contract, every mental illusion, every emotional residue of poverty and panic. Now declare this after me. My word is the end of struggle. My voice is the doorway to divine supply. I am not waiting on money. Money is waiting on me. God is not delaying. I was delaying, but I delay no more. Now breathe. That was not a sentence. That was a spiritual decree. You didn't just say it. You stamped it in the invisible. Heaven has heard. Earth is aligning. You may not see it instantly, but the moment you spoke, the law was triggered. The moment you spoke, the atmosphere took shape. The moment you spoke, delay lost its hold. Never again say, I'm trying. Never again say, I hope so. Never again say, I don't know how. Because now, you do. You know that the word is the how. Say it again tomorrow. Say it when you get paid. Say it when the bill arrives. Say it before the phone call. Say it when you feel rich, and especially when you don't. You're not repeating out of desperation. You're repeating out of dominion. You are a divine commander now, and this sentence is your spiritual sword. Say it, mean it, live it, and now watch money obey the rhythm of your mouth. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the final moment you ever confuse lack with truth. The struggle is not real, but the word is, and now you've spoken it. If this word has stirred something in you, don't leave silently. Speak again. Comment below with the decree. I cast the burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Write it once and let heaven echo it back. Let your voice be seen. Let your word become visible. This is not just about engagement, it's about activation, a public act of private dominion. And if you've felt the shift, I invite you to subscribe, not to a channel, but to a practice, a rhythm, a return, a remembrance of your divine authority. Come back daily, not for more content, but for more alignment. Speak with me again. Decree again, command again, because your life will not change by watching. It will change by speaking. And this channel will be here to remind you, not of your lack, but of your law. So now, say it one more time with me. I cast this burden of lack on the Christ within, and I go free to receive unlimited supply. Your next financial chapter does not begin with effort. It begins with your next sentence. Return tomorrow. Your voice is waiting.